For the first time in a while, hello everyone! I'm kind of nervous since I haven't filmed anything in quite a while. I gotta get used to it though, because I'm gonna start posting regularly again. I'm not even gonna say I might. I have to say I will, or else I will not end up doing it. It's been a long while. I'm glad to be back. I hope that y'all didn't miss me too much. Okay, who are we kidding? I know y'all didn't miss me. Y'all probably forgot that I still make YouTube videos. Today I wanted to do a huge life update video because I've been gone for like 8-9 months now already. My last video was in December of 2021. And then after that I just like went ghost on y'all. I'm so sorry. Like there was just so much happening that I gotta fill you in on it. It's gonna be chill because I'm trying to ease myself back into the whole video making thing. I kind of broke down this life update into 3 different categories. The first one being what's already happened, second being where I'm at right now, and then the third being what I have planned for the future. Let's start with the most obvious one because I'm sure y'all can see. Finally got my hair bleached again. I went to an actual salon this time instead of frying my own hair at home. And as you can see, I think my hair health is a lot better now. This happened pretty recently actually. I did this in June when I went to visit the city. More updates on that too. One thing that happened a while ago though was that I finally got this. This was my first ever tattoo and it honestly went by like super quickly, and it was also not that bad in terms of pain. I was expecting there to be a lot more pain because, you know, it's literally like needles going into your skin, and I'm personally really sensitive to needles, but it worked out super well. It was literally like 5 minutes of tattooing and that's it. I'm also getting another one next month in September, which I will show y'all when the time comes. The design is a secret as of now, but I am extremely excited for it. To segue into the next thing, most of the time that I spent in not making videos, I was just in school. I was finishing up my last semester of college actually. I graduated, thankfully. Before I get to that though, let's talk about my semester. That was not good. I struggled a lot throughout my last semester, and it's honestly because I spread myself too thin, as per usual. I don't know what else we expected from me. Looking back at it though, I don't know how I spent all those years continuously pursuing education while also doing the most with it. Because some people just do the bare minimum and they're perfectly fine with that. But I don't know, for some reason I'm never satisfied with what I do, so I feel like I always gotta do more. These past couple of months after graduating though, I've really learned how to dial it back. So I was honestly so burnt out, and now that I'm heading into my career, I want to go into that with the clearest mindset possible that I can have. Now you may be wondering how exactly I spread myself too thin. Well, let me tell you. So I was handling a heavier course load than I did in the previous semesters. Before my last semester, I'd only really been doing like maybe 12 or 13 credits. But I took, I think, close to 18 this time around. The reason I had to take 18 credits in my last semester is because I actually switched majors twice. So I kind of had to squeeze all of the last classes that I needed in there in order for me to graduate on time. I almost ended up not graduating because of this one class that I had. And guess what kind of class it was? It was an art history class. It wasn't even one of the core classes for my major. For context, I have a degree in graphic design, so that is my specialty. But we are also required to take other things such as art history and also other forms of art such as like painting, drawing, etc. So I had to take one last art history class in my final semester. This class was actually a replacement of a different class that I should have been taking. The class that I should have been taking was like history of graphic design, and I had to get replaced with this class about contemporary art because history of graphic design wasn't offered until the fall semester, and I didn't want to have to stay an extra semester just to be able to complete that one class. In retrospect, I honestly should have just done that because that class was terrible for no reason at all. Not only was the content a rehash of literally everything else in the other art history classes I've learned, but also the teacher was like one of those Karens. I'm sorry, but at the start of the semester when we had our first class, she walked in and she had the full like Karen bob cut and everything. I was just like, I don't want to deal with this. I remember her being so strict with grading when literally none of the other art history teachers had done that. And I found it so weird because I wasn't used to that. So I tried my best. I don't even remember what I got. All I know is that it was enough to be able to graduate, and that's all that matters. If that wasn't enough, there was this other teacher in one of my other classes that was just like, I don't know how to describe her, but you know it's bad when the entire class doesn't like her. That class also gave me a lot of stress because this teacher was very specific about how she wanted things. Like, she even wanted our PDFs to be formatted in a very particular way. And literally never in my life have I heard a teacher or just any professional in general, any design professional, ask for a specific PDF formatting. Also, during that semester, I choreographed a dance for the first time ever. It's actually for one of the clubs that I'm a part of. Actually, I should say was part of, because I graduated. I got to choreograph it with my boyfriend because it's a partner dance. It's a tradition that the club has because they do for their formals every year. For the past couple of years, they weren't able to do it because of COVID. My boyfriend and I were actually asked to choreograph this because we were some of the few people that actually knew what this tradition was and had actually participated in it before. Fun fact, this little tradition was actually the same way that my boyfriend and I met 3 years ago. This is the first time they got to hold one in person in a while. So personally, I felt a bit of pressure, especially because most of the people that were participating had never done this before. Obviously, we both wanted to make a great dance and we also wanted to be good teachers for everyone that was participating. Even though for both of us, this was literally our first time choreographing and teaching a dance to anyone. We wanted to give them as good of an experience as possible so that they can look back at it and be like, oh yeah, that was a fun time. Overall, even though there were some hard times, I personally enjoyed it a lot. I don't think I can say the same about my boyfriend though, because he was like, I'm never choreographing anything ever again. This actually provides a pretty smooth transition into the next part. So with the stress that we were experiencing with choreographing the dance from being in school and having jobs, we started having a lot more arguments than we usually would have. I'll be real, we almost ended up breaking up because the last fight we had was pretty bad. I don't want to get into too much details related to that, but basically I felt that throughout the past couple months we kind of lost ourselves. Not only losing ourselves individually, but losing why we were dating in the first place. Throughout the summer though, we've definitely improved a lot on that. We're both working on our shortcomings, and I honestly think that's the most important part of all of this. He clearly meant it when he said I'm not going anywhere. I'm honestly kind of jumping around in the timeline, so I'm gonna try to say actual months from now on. So in March, I became a Samsung ambassador, which is crazy because that is one of the biggest brands that I've worked with to this date. It was for their college program, so we held some events on campus. Specifically because I was on the social media side of things, I created a lot of content for my page, promoting the Samsung products, highlighting everything I love about them, etc. Actually, by the time that this comes up, it'll be the end of my contract with Samsung. I'm sad that it's ending because it was honestly one of the best brands I've ever worked with. If y'all are curious and you want me to do a full review of that, I got you. In the last month that I was in school, so from April to May, I actually started my own small business with the help of a senior class that I was a part of. For this class, we were required to make our own physical products, and that could be like anything that we wished, as long as we felt like it would sell well. A big part of the class was focused on entrepreneurship and how you can use artistic skills to make profit. I went for something similar to Hello Kitty in that there's one mascot, and that mascot just appears everywhere in like apparel, notebooks, stickers, everything like that. The character that I decided to make is a little bear. The full brand name that I made was Mook the Killer Bear, and you will soon understand why. This is what he looks like. As you can see, he got his ear bitten off during a fight. That's a part of the lore that he has. I recently started selling these vinyl stickers with his face on them, and this is the product that I created originally for the class that I was in. So it's a black crew neck sweater, and it features him embroidered on the front. I actually sold out of all of them. The only reason that I kept this one is because it was a dud. If you can see the color, I actually ran out of this shade of purple thread, so I ended up having to replace it with another one. And I just ended up keeping it because I realized I didn't make an extra one for myself and I didn't think it was good enough to sell anyways. I made a total of 12 in 4 different sizes, small, medium, large, and extra large, and they sold really well. I was so happy with how it turned out. For the class, we didn't necessarily have to be successful in selling for us to pass the class, but I still felt the internal pressure to create a good product because I knew this was going to be out where people might be interested in buying it, you know, and I definitely exceeded my expectations with that one. I've stopped producing them for the summertime because it's a crew neck. I don't think people really wear crew necks during the summertime, but I'm going to have them back during the fall. So if y'all are interested and y'all want some updates on my brand and how it's going, be sure to follow. It's Moop the Killer Bear. The brand's full name is actually Moop the Killer Bear because it was based off a little drawing that I made in about like 5th or 6th grade, and it was of a bear holding a bloody knife. I know, I had no business drawing that in 5th grade, but it's okay. As an adult, I've been inspired by it once again. Fast forward to May and I graduated! I received a bachelor's degree in graphic design along with a minor in Korean language. Then I took a trip back home to New York City from late June to mid-July, partly because I wanted to have a little vacation to myself, but also because I was actually taking the TOPIK, aka the Korean proficiency test, because New York City was the nearest location that it was being offered to where my university was. During this little trip though, I caught COVID. It was not fun. I don't recommend it. Literally the first 2 days, I could not get up at all. I didn't eat, I didn't brush my teeth, I didn't do anything. I didn't even want to drink water or go to the bathroom. Like it was absolutely terrible. It was so bad to the point where my boyfriend had to come over to help me. And he was doing clinicals too. So the first day I had symptoms, I told him about it, and after his clinicals, he went to where I was and took care of me. After the first 2 days though, I definitely got a lot better. The problem was though, my Korean proficiency test took place 7 or 8 days after I started experiencing my symptoms. So even if it was like 7 or 8 days out, I was still experiencing some fatigue and nausea the day of the test. So needless to say, I did not do that well on the test. I was literally sitting there trying not to faint in my seat and just wanting the whole test to be over. I remember there was some point where my mind just went on autopilot and I started writing down whatever answers I could think of because I was just not having it. I get my results next week, I believe. So you know what, maybe I'll do an update again and we'll see what happened and what score I got. Overall though, for my trip, the times where I wasn't sick, it was super fun. So I can't really complain about that. Sure, it would have been nice to not be knocked out for basically like a week or 2, but it's whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. I actually have a little film reel coming soon that I recorded while I was in the city, so I'm excited for y'all to see that one. Lastly, but certainly not least, throughout the past 7, 8, 9, however many months, I wasn't doing the best mentally, and I'm convinced it's because of the buildup of all the years of continuous education where I just disregarded my feelings entirely in favor of homework or tests or studying. Especially post-graduation, now that I'm not continuing any further education, I have so much time to really feel all of my emotions, and that can be a good thing and a bad thing because the highs are amazing, but when you hit the lows, it's like I feel pretty hopeless at times, but I'm working on it. I think it's actually good that I'm taking the time now to face this head on, as opposed to jumping straight into my career with full force and continuing to push back those feelings that I should have processed in the first place. That's why this entire time after I've graduated, I haven't been looking at full-time jobs quite yet. With that being said though, I did get my first big girl job. I did recently get hired for a part-time position as a social media manager and graphic designer for this really awesome STEM media company, which I could not be more grateful for. I feel like this is the perfect arrangement for me right now because it's a fully remote job, it's part-time, and it's also mentally stimulating enough for me that I don't get bored of it. I just started, but so far it's been really great. Even though I've been working and I've been just doing a lot of personal stuff with myself, I still feel kind of lost. And I'm definitely not the only one that thinks that. I feel like that's generally just a post-grad thing. I could be wrong, but based on what I've seen, it seems to be a pretty common theme. I think I have to get comfortable with the fact that for the first time in my life, I have a lot less limitations than I normally would due to school. I'm working part-time and remote right now, so it's honestly really easy for me to plan vacations. Obviously, there's the financial limitation to it, but I'm always down for things like road trips, even to like nearby cities, or just going back home to New York City. I just love being in different places in general, so I'm not hard to please at all when it comes to that. In my opinion, there's still a lot that I need to work through mentally, but we're taking it one day at a time. Starting with this actually, like filming videos, for the longest time since I stopped making videos, I would have so much anxiety thinking about making the next video. Like I'd plan stuff in my head, but then it would always fall through and it wouldn't go as intended, so then I'd just scrap the entire project altogether and never end up finishing it. But now that I have more time to work on it, and that I'm in a better place mentally, I decided to just go for it again. It low-key feels like I'm starting over again, and I kind of like that. I've also been getting back into my Depop grind. I am almost at 100 sales, so if y'all want to check out my shop, it is linked down below. I'm also continuing to sell on Galaxy as well, so I would love if y'all could pop out to some of my live shows that are coming soon. I have a death pile of clothes that I really need to photograph and get through because it's just staying there in my room, not helping me make money. In terms of what I have coming up, for the next couple of months, I'm just gonna be traveling. I'm actually going to Electric Zoo in September. It's actually my first time going to a big music festival like that, so I'm super excited. I'm going with one of my best friends. I'm probably gonna do a vlog on that as well, so yeah, we'll get to meet him. He's cool. Only sometimes though, because I'm not gonna fire him that much. And then the weekend following that, my best friend and I are going to be in Boston for a little bit. He actually lives there right now because he's working there, but I'm just going to be visiting for the weekends just because I wanted to. I think it's gonna be pretty fun. It's my first time being alone in Boston. The only other time I went was with family and I wasn't able to explore anything that I wanted to see. So hopefully this time it'll be a great experience. And then afterwards in either October or November, I'm going back home to New York City again because I'm going to see a musical. I don't know if y'all heard of it, but it's called K-pop the Musical. And the reason I'm extra excited about it is because the lead is Luna from FX. And if y'all don't know, FX is like my ultimate favorite group of all time. Like, in any genre of music. They're my absolute favorites. If I show you like my K-pop collection, 90% of it is just FX stuff. I even have a bunch of like signed things from them. I spent so much money on it, but it's okay. The satisfaction of it is what matters. I've been a fan of them since their very early days, like back in 2011. So it's really exciting to be able to see her on Broadway, especially because I know she's already done a lot of musicals back in South Korea. And obviously I've never went to any of them because that would require me to haul myself across the world. Speaking of South Korea though, I am planning to visit sometime in early 2023. I don't know when yet. I need to plan that out more, but I definitely want it to happen because it'll be my first overseas trip alone. The only other overseas trip I've ever been on was to the Philippines and I was 4. So I don't remember any of that. I actually have a couple friends living in Korea, so I think it would be nice to reconnect. And for some of them, like connect for the first time, because I've also made a lot of virtual friends over the years due to YouTube and just social media stuff. And some of these people I have never met in person before. Also, to continue with future plans, I mentioned this previously, but I'm definitely planning on making more videos, and that is a will, not a might. And in all honesty, y'all can hold me to that because sometimes I just need a little kick in the right direction to get me going. Lastly, who knows what else I have planned? I'm so spontaneous sometimes, like I don't plan my days a lot of the time. I kind of just do whatever I feel like, and if I think that I accomplished enough for the day, then I'm like, great. I definitely should get more into the habit of planning things because it will make my life a lot more organized and easier. But that's a later problem. Once again, I am so happy to be back. Y'all have no idea. Whether you've been here before or you're new, I hope that you enjoyed and that you're excited for what I'm about to drop. As always, all my social media is linked down below. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do whatever. I can't even do that seriously. Take care and I'll see you on the next one.